Right, on tonight's episode of Python Papi, we're back inside our generative AI course, and we're still working on the front end of our project. Let's have a look at what we went over tonight. Now, tonight we did open up a few more files, and we did a lot more note taking. So let's have a look at exactly what we did here. So first and foremost, I'm in the wrong module. Let me close that and open up the one we need. Okay, here it is here. And you can see here we do have some new files open up top here. We have .environment or .env. Then we have our template. I think we're already in template, but we just did more in it today. And then we have our setup.file. So let's go to our walkthrough where we have all our notes and codes and see exactly what's going on. We're going to pick up where we left off yesterday. So next we will use the setup.py file to help us turn our src folder into a local package. This will let our src folder or any folder we choose to use behave just like any other package we install using a pip and import into our code. Now we will begin writing the code for our setup.py file. We will start by using a pre-built Python library called setup tools. From setup tools, we will import find packages and setup. We'll go down a little bit further so we can see what that looks like. So you can see we have from setup tools, which is the pre-built or pre-installed library inside Python. So it comes with Python already. And from that, we imported the find packages and the setup. Next, we will create our object and call it setup. This will take as parameter name, version, author email packages, install requires, and whatever else we choose to add to it. But those are the ones we're going to use for now. Now we also have a find packages function. When called, this function will look for the constructor method, the dunder ended dunder in every folder. The folder we find the file in will be considered our local package. So wherever we find this dunder file is the folder we're going to consider our local package. That's why we made the constructor method inside the src folder, because we plan on making that folder our local package. You can see here, we open this up at all our folders. You can see src. So this would be our main folder here because it indeed has the dunder.py method there. So that would be considered our local package. Now we still have to turn it into our local package. So let's keep going down. So you can see this is how we did our setup. This is the parameters I told you about with the name, version, author email packages install. Then we can come over here to setup and see we have that here also with just the code. And you can see from setup tools, we have import packages and setup. So we have that all down pat. Now we can install the setup.py file. This is how we can do that. Go down a little bit further. So first we would add an item to our requirements. Let me show you here. We added it to the requirements. Then what is that? The hyphen e space dot. Now that's what we need there. So let me go back down. Now first we will add an item to our requirements.txt file. This is what the item will be. Hold on. Let me get txt file. Okay. This is what we'll be adding. So this is the one I just showed you, the hyphen e space period or dot. Now what the hyphen e space dot will do is once the requirement.txt file is installed, it will look for the setup.py file automatically. So as soon as the requirements.txt gets installed in our system, this hyphen e space dot will automatically look for the setup.py file, and it's going to follow instructions on everything that's in here and do exactly what it says. If it finds find packages, find packages is set up to find the main file, and from the main file, once that gets ran, everything gets up and going. So it's a chain reaction kind of thing. So that's what happens when we put that e or the hyphen e space dot inside our requirements package or our requirements text file, and then we actually install that file. And like I said, once it finds the setup.py file, it will trigger the file to run and follow instructions, and the setup.py file that'll install and set up everything else we have in the instructions. And with that done and everything set up, we can now move on to working on our environment. First thing we would do, we'll be adding this .env file is a copy of our pinecone key. So let me show you that. So we have our pinecone key, we have our pinecone environment, and we do have a note on that particular subject there with the environment. Let me go down so I can show you what the note is. So the first thing we'll add is the pinecone key. The second thing we'll add is the pinecone environment note. If we are using a serverless environment on the pinecone website, we don't need to specify an environment, and we can leave this part of the code out. So since I was serverless on my the last time we used the Pinecone environment, which was in our Google Colab notebook working on our medical chatbot backend, I actually didn't use an environment Pinecone key because we're not using the environment with serverless. So I was able to bypass that altogether and just use the Pinecone key. So that's just a little note. Okay, so next we'll be putting the API key in the environment inside this folder, as well as any other secret information we have that we don't want to share with the public. When we transfer our code to GitHub, the env file doesn't get transferred. This is because of the git ignore feature of GitHub. Now, this feature treats env in a number of different file types as classified and won't transfer them into GitHub when transferring your code over. So basically, if you have like secret API keys or secret knowledge that you just want to stay on your machine and not get transferred over when you transfer your files over to GitHub, or whatever other platform you're using. I'm sure they have their own mechanisms, but with the GitHub, there is a feature called the Git Ignore. So let's say if my entire project was done and I transferred everything over to GitHub right now, this folder wouldn't go over. It doesn't get read inside GitHub, so I can hide my API keys, secrets, and blah 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 blah. Everything we don't want the public to see, we can actually put in this folder right here, and that'll stay on our local machine, and that won't get transferred over into GitHub. Basically, that's what we went over for the night. We're just still building our front end piece by piece, going over new aspects and finding out new things that I haven't known before, and just learning along the way. But of course, I will keep you posted every step of the way. For now, this is the Python Papi. You guys stay Gucci.